Welcome back. The enormous stakes associated with the Kavanaugh confirmation have triggered a tsunami of emotions, with the aftershocks almost certain to deepen an already cavernous national divide. Question: will the cursory examination of Christine Blasey-Ford offered by the Republican majority alter the way women, and in particular suburban women, view the GOP? Will her reluctant emergence and high-profile testimony inspire more aggrieved women to make outcries against past wrongdoing? And now consider this: confrontation of Senator Jeff Flake by two women who say they are victims of sexual assault.
Look at me when I'm talking to you. You're telling me that my assault doesn't matter, that what happened to me doesn't matter, and that you're going to let people who do these things into power. That's what you're telling me when you vote for him.
It's allowing someone who actually violated a woman to sit in the Supreme Court.
We now know it was Senator Flake who triggered additional FBI investigation before a final vote. I'm going to go to you, Bill King. As you've watched this unfold, what are your thoughts?
You know, I think I'm mostly sad for the country. If there's ever been a case made for how broken our political system is, it's these hearings. I mean, neither side cared about the truth. Both sides were trying to score points and to keep or retain power. That's all our two parties are about anymore. And if there's ever Exhibit A, and the fact that we got to do something to break this bipartisan gridlock in the country, whether that's a third party or independents getting elected or something, these hearings are front and center of the case for the American people. We've got to do something different.
Tony Diaz, you teach political science sometimes. Well, you know, how would you lay this out for your students?
Well, I think generations of scholars will look at this and say, hey, this is what systematic oppression looks like, and it's with the Republicans in power. So what you have here is the Me Too movement's been very powerful. They've won in the court of public opinion. They've won in their first conviction in court. They've hit a wall at the Supreme Court. And I think what's going to happen is that unless women vote out Republicans, you're going to have a Republican-run White House that has issues with women, a Republican-run Supreme Court, Republican-run House, Republican-run Senate. They're going to overturn Roe versus Wade and implement laws unless women win back the House and Senate for Democrats. You know what, Bill? I want there to be that America you're talking about in November. The only thing we're going to have is a balance of power. So I think women are going to vote out Republicans in the Senate and the House as a response.
Jessica, what say you to the whole issue of suburban women watching this go down?
Yeah. Well, one thing, Tony went immediately to the Democrat fear tactic that Roe v. Wade is going to be overturned. That is the #1 talking point of this entire confirmation hearing. Number two,
it should be.
Number two, women have husbands and sons and brothers. And women realize now that accusations can be lobbed against them with no factual basis because no one can corroborate Dr. Ford's testimony. And there's no date, there are no facts around this. It would currently not stand up in court of law. And women realize that their entire their livelihoods, their children's futures could be turned on a dime. And if you don't think women are paying attention to that in this election cycle, you're mistaken. And they might ultimately be the silent majority that win more seats for the Republicans.
I'm not sure if you wore a dress because you're a woman or you just wore a dress to be for show, because as a woman, there were 81 women arrested on Thursday and 3 women arrested on Friday for protesting at the Senate building. Now, the march, the protest was November is coming, November is coming. White suburban women overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump in this election. Black educated women voted for Hillary Clinton. Now that white women are upset, I cannot believe right now that you can still say that we're worried about the brothers and the husbands and the victims. What about the female victims? What about the woman that you just saw protesting in the elevator trying to get Jeff Flake to change his mind? Would you be worried more about your son being accused or whether or not that woman's daughter would be hurt if she was ever raped? And another thing, if you think that Jeff Flake is the one that did all of this, no, those women did all of this. How about speaking up for the women, Jessica? We got to speak up for our girls.
I do speak up for the women.
No, you say this.
No, Nyanza.
No. Speak up.
Okay, listen. First off, just like the women have brothers, those women have daughters, they have mothers.
Right.
I don't care if you're a toothless, bearded hag. At one time in your life, somebody may have tried to do something to you as a man that you did not want done, unless you just so ugly, your mama didn't even let you out the house. But for most women who went to school, went to church, played sports, had a job, I can assure you at some point in your life. I know girls in high school who went to a movie with a guy in a car and nobody witnessed it. And when they got back to school and told us what the guy did to them, we knew they weren't lying. All this, it's about credibility. Let me tell you something, only a hit dog holler. He got so damn emotional, he looked weak. Do you want somebody like that in the Supreme Court? And let me tell you, those same suburban women, they probably have experienced that as well. And when you have elitist entitlement attitudes projected on you from a child, and you feel you entitled to whatever you want by any means necessary, that's what you get.
What do you say, Bob? Does a hit dog the only one that hollers?
This is not about Dr. Ford. This is not about Ms. Ramirez. This is not even about Ms. Swetnick with her porn star lawyer. This is about delaying the vote so that the Democrats think they can win the Senate and stop the nomination of a conservative jurist to the Supreme Court and protect Roe v. Wade. That's what this is entirely about. If Dianne Feinstein had wanted to protect Dr. Ford, she would have gone to the FBI and said, we have credible information here that needs to be investigated privately so that this can be dealt with and the truth can come out. It has never been about finding the truth for Dr. Ford. It's only about delay. They waited until, not even during the hearing, they waited till the end of the hearing to bring this out. They waited and threw every delay tactic in there, and now that they've been given this FBI investigation that they screamed that they wanted to have, it's not long enough. Why? Because it won't delay it long enough. This is all about delay. It's about Roe v. Wade, and it's about putting a conservative jurist on the Supreme Court.
But Dr. Ford volunteered to testify. Nobody forced her. She said, I'm here because I want to be. So all this she could have kept
forced because
where's Mark Judge? Where's Mark Judge?
Reporters ambushed her classroom.
Next up,
well, bring up Mark
Hold on, guys. Next up, Abbott versus Valdez. A popular incumbent and the Democratic challenger battle face-to-face in the race for governor. Stick around.